Whoa! What is up, Raider Nation? It's your boy Simone Raider back at it again with another video, and today I'm going to be going over the Kelechi Osemele interview with Bleacher Report. Now, a lot of people has been hitting me up on my DMs, commenting on my videos, and saying, yo, Simone Raider, did you see what KO said about the Raiders? You know, he talking that talk. I didn't even see this whole thing, but you know what? That intrigued me, and I went out and listened to the whole podcast. So I got some inserts, some clips from that podcast, and I'm going to talk about everything, give you guys my thoughts, my initial reaction to it, and just talk about what I think about it. So Raider Nation, if you guys have any thoughts of what you think about this interview or what he's talking about, then drop it down in the comments below and let your boy know. And if this is the first time you're watching this video and you enjoy this content, then hit that subscribe button and hit that notification icon button just so you don't ever miss out on another video like this. Without further ado, let's get started with this video. KO is one of my favorite players on the Raiders. You know, when we brought him in from the Ravens, man, he became one of those centerpieces on this offensive line that just helped this team exceed to that next level. And when we traded him, it was kind of shocking to me. You know, it kind of hit close to home. Even though he was only a Raider for a couple of years, he was really a Raider. So when we traded him for a 5th-round pick, he wasn't part of John Gruden's plan for the future, which is kind of crazy when you see the interview later on. But yeah, basically KO talks about his trade and, you know, being excited for AB, and it's kind of crazy. But yeah, let's play this excerpt so you guys could see.
Like, it was crazy. I remember hitting up Gabe. Gabe was the first person I told, and I was like, yeah, dog, they traded me. He thought I was playing. He's like, stop lying. I'm like, yeah, dog. And he was like, I'm probably next. You never know what they've been doing around here. Like, because it was just like that, bro. Like,
the day before you got traded, they got Antonio Brown in a trade. So
Facts.
You probably had a day of being like.
The funny thing was the night before we were celebrating my boy Neil, one of his friends, like, started a company, like a startup or whatever. And we're celebrating her, and then the news came at dinner that we got AB, so we're all at the table.
You're
like,
lit.
yo, we about to be cold, like,
Yeah.
dang. And then, like, yeah.
The next
I think
morning
it was the
at
next
a
day.
church.
Yeah.
It was the next day.
Yeah, I think it was the next day. Yeah.
So that flipped real quick.
Yeah.
See, that to me, that's kind of messed up. Like, well, it kind of sucks because he was excited, which shows you how excited he was going to be for the season. And the fact that he gets traded the next day is kind of crazy and mind-boggling to me. And obviously, we know that we traded him away for a 5th-round pick to the New York Jets. And it kind of questioned a lot of people, like, oh, shoot, we traded one of our best offensive linemen. But you know what? I'm over that. I know we're all moving on from that. But, you know, the next thing we're going to talk about that he gets into is basically his first interaction with Tom Cable, and Tom Cable basically being straight up with them, saying that we're going to go and draft an offensive lineman in this year's draft. Well, in last year's draft. So a lot of people thought we were crazy passing up on a lot of defensive players that we could have used last year. But I feel like offensive line was the #1 priority in last year's draft. And he goes to tell you guys that the Raiders really wanted to get Quentin Nelson. Obviously, Quentin Nelson wasn't going to fall all the way down to 10 where we were at. But a lot of news came out right before, the day before, that we were interested in Mike McGlinchey. Obviously, he went to the 49ers, and we lost that infamous coin toss to the Niners, which they swooped up Mike McGlinchey right before us. And you guys know that we ended up with Colton Miller. I mean, time will tell how good he's going to be, but Colton Miller was the guy if it came down to it. So it wasn't a reach for us, even though everybody says he should have been a 2nd rounder, 3rd rounder, who knows. Colton Miller was our guy. So let's hear it from the mouth of KO.
You could feel that change immediately.
Right away. As soon as they
How
came
did
in,
you-
I remember Cable sitting me down and being like, yeah, man, we going to take this guard. If the Indiana doesn't take him out of Quentin Nelson, we're going to take him. How do you feel about moving the tackle? Like, as soon as I meet, one of the first conversations I have with the dude, so I'm like, okay, so you're already trying to move me. So, all right, cool. And
I was an all-pro.
so I'm like,
This
all
kinda
right,
messed up, though.
This is going. If
For
we
an
can't
entire
get him, then we're going to get Colton Miller. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to be upfront and honest with you, which I respect him for that. But it was just kind of like, yo, like, our O-line is cold, though. Like, what? Like,
Yeah.
just the disrespect in general, just to be like,
And that goes to show that, like I said, Colton Miller was the guy. And it's kind of messed up. That's the first time you meet Tom Cable, and that's the first thing you say. It's kind of crazy. But, you know, Tom Cable was being straight up with KO, and obviously you see that he shows a lot of respect to him for saying that. But moving to tackle, I don't think so. Gruden is infamous of, you know, telling people one thing and then doing the next. Obviously, last year, he said the whole Khalil Mack thing. He said, we're going to do everything that we can to get Khalil Mack. back on this squad. And obviously we did it. We traded him away. I know a lot of circumstances go into that, but he said we were going to do anything that we could, but we didn't. And then Amari Cooper was, he came out last year saying Amari Cooper is going to be the centerpiece to this offense for the future, and obviously he wasn't the future for the Raiders, which I don't mind because we got a first rounder out of Amari Cooper. But let's hear what KO has to say about Gruden and his lies.
We had a lot of talks in his office, and they were not like what he said obviously did not come to fruition. So take that for whatever it's worth.
Ooh, what was
Burn.
the last thing you were told that didn't come to fruition?
Yeah, man, the next 5 years, man, like you're going to be a leader on this team. We really respect how hard you work in your work ethic.
Yeah,
and this and that, like blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, all right, well, we'll see.
And we did see because he got traded after only 1 year with John Gruden, which is kind of crazy. And you know what? Like, I know John Gruden says a lot of things to a lot of people, and he doesn't plan to do stuff. Maybe not. But come on, man. You can't just say you're going to be part of the next 5 years and you get shipped off, because anything can happen. You just don't say those kind of things. That's just me and my thoughts. Lefkoe gives props to Tom Cable because he told him straight up, whether he liked it or not, that we were going to get an offensive line and if he wanted to move to tackle, basically hinting that we might be moving on from KO. And basically that was the last straw. Maybe, you never know.
Like, I appreciate Cable telling you the truth.
See, I
True.
respect that. He kept it real. He did. He kept it real. It's like, hey, man, we're trying to make these moves. Like, we want to do what we want to, like, and it's like, what's up. You know what I mean? Like, you always, at least what's up. You might not like it, but what's up.
Damn.
True. He said you might not like it, but you know what's up. At least he's telling you straight up, and you're not like John Gruden beating around the bush, you know what I mean? But, with that being said, like going into the whole trade thing, a lot of things went down from Khalil Mack and Amari Cooper. Khalil Mack's trade did catch a lot of Raidernation by surprise, especially me. That trade really hit home for me, honestly. But then the Amari Cooper trade, I didn't really care about it. I was like, oh shit, it caught me by surprise, and I'm like, damn. But we got a first round pick out of it. I didn't think it hit home as much as it did Khalil Mack. But yeah, KO talks about it and what everybody thought about this whole trade thing. And yeah, man, it was pretty crazy, though. Pretty crazy.
Khalil traded, Amari traded. I mean, and then I have to imagine the guys back there right now are kind of like, who's next? It has to be.
Yeah. That's exactly what Gabe said. Even Rodney joked about that. Like, yeah, man. I mean, like, we have like these professionals that we work with or whatever, like shrinks and even a team shrink. Like, hey, man, like, there's a lot of people talking to us right now. They're very concerned about. I'm like, damn.
Shrinks are.
Hey, one thing I'm gonna say, I love KO's I like his facial expressions in this interview. He's like, damn, but like the whole interview, he's just a great guy to interview, and he's a character as well, as you can see.
Talking to other shrinks, they might replace me.
Like, it's crazy over there right now. It's
crazier to be on the team for Khalil being traded or Amari.
Amari was Khalil was just like, what? But then, and then it's a shock, but it's so early still. But then, the Amari was just like, yo, they literally do not care. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just like.
Yeah, because Khalil was before the season, and they got back multiple first-round picks, and he was already holding out. So
really, the first one you're forgetting is Marquette King. Like,
facts.
In my opinion, best punter, in the game.
And he addressed something that I know a lot of people forgot, and I forgot too. We let go of Marquette King. Now, I know a lot of Raider Nation does not like Marquette King. Me, I still like Marquette King. I still got love for him. If I had to choose to bring him back, I'd bring him back, honestly, because we don't have any better punter on the team. Yes, I know he can be drama. I know he could be a little extra, and he's a really high character, But I enjoyed him, and that's what made me like him, because he's just out there just having fun being a punter, man. What else you going to do? And he talks about, everything that went on. Everybody last year did not trust what was going on upstairs because they didn't know who was going to get traded next. It could have been anybody. It could have been Rodney. It could have been Derek. It could have been anybody. Things happen and things change. He also talks about all the vets on the team that just wanted to leave because it seemed like we were rebuilding, which, as a vet, I don't want to be on a team that's rebuilding, and a lot of people asked for trades. A lot of people wanted to leave the Raiders. Obviously, we've seen people retire. DRC wanted to retire. Guys left the team during the middle of the season. And I'm like, damn, really? F you two. 2018 was a whole debacle. Just hear what he has to say.
So when you're a team and you go, we're rebuilding, anyone on that team over the age of 27
Yeah.
is like, bro, not now.
Dudes are asking for trades. Like some guys,
Wow.
like I'm just not that type of person. Like once I sign on to do something, I finish that. But like Bruce for sure was a guy that was just like, yo,
Get me outta
like,
here.
deuces.
I want to go to
I'm not
Atlanta
doing
or something
that.
like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like his wife's there or whatever. So he's
Yeah.
like, hey, like, you know.
Obviously, Bruce did want to leave, and we let go of him, and he went to Atlanta and was never to be heard again. I don't fault a lot of people wanting to leave, but dog, you signed to the contract. No matter what we do, stay on the team, at least for the season. Come on now. And that's why I give a lot of respects and a lot of props to KO, because no matter what the Raiders were going through, he admitted that once he signs on to somewhere, he's going to stay there and play his heart out, play that contract out. And he did. We had one good season when he was here, and everything went downhill from there. And he was still on the team, not complaining, but obviously his loyalty didn't go really far because the Raiders were being a business and shipped his ass off to New York, which I thought was kind of messed up. But you know what? I got a lot of respect for KO because he would have stayed if we kept him. And there's other vets that were on the team that still stayed on, guys like Marshawn Lynch, which we're going to address right here. And Marshawn Lynch was another player that just came on. He just loved playing for the Oakland Raiders because he's an Oakland native. And Lefkoe asked him how it felt to play with Marshawn and have Marshawn on the team. So let's see that.
What was it like to have Marshawn Lynch on your team?
That was dope. He kept it too real. Like we had the realest conversations on the plane to the point where like coaches would come get their rookies so that they would not have to hear what he was saying, just so they can keep them.
What
the way
kind
that
of
they
shit is
want
he
them.
spitting on the team plane?
Like just straight up stuff, bro. I don't even want to repeat it. I'm scared to repeat it. I'm not even gonna say it.
Was it about football or was it about
It was
life?
about football, but it was also about life too.
Yeah.
And like,
Oh no,
and what's going on with foot. I'm not even gonna get into it.
he sees
dog.
through the games. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
dog.
he's the kind
and
of
he
guy.
saw it early too. Like
That's incredible.
Yeah.
This dude KO is such a character, man. I love it. And obviously, if you know Marshawn's going to be Marshawn wherever he's at. And that goes to show he may say some things that you don't even want to say in an interview, which I understand as well. But that's Marshawn, and that's why we all love Marshawn. But the next subject that we're going to be going on is one of the biggest subjects that he talks about in this whole interview, and it's the infamous Monday Night Football game against the Washington Redskins. We all know what happened that day. Before that, 2016, we had a great season. Derek Carr gets injured, and he comes back for the next season. 2017 is the season that the Raiders are initially the Super Bowl contending team on the rise. We bring in Marshawn Lynch, was crazy, and we start off the season 2-0 before we played the Washington Redskins. 2-0, and best believe we was all hyped. I was hyped, and I was like, damn, we about to win this thing. We beat the Titans week 1. We beat the Jets week 2, and that was the infamous game where Marshawn was like,
Sheets, you know what I mean? For sure, know what I mean? Sheets. I don't put that on, that's my word. I don't put that on, that's my word. I don't think they know, that's my word.
dancing all over the place. And then we go into Washington. A lot of things went on. I don't really get into political subjects, but that was the main thing that happened. And our line wanted to sit for the national anthem, and I know a lot of people said they should have stayed back in the locker room and not show themselves. But them being an all-black offensive line, which I didn't know till I seen this interview, they had to do something, and that's what he explains in here. After this game, that whole season went downhill. What transpired from that game was pretty crazy. So yeah, let's hear it from KO.
Can I ask you an awkward question? Because it's been one of the things I've been most fascinated by. Monday Night Football, Raiders, Washington, all the stories that came out. Is there any truth to that shit at all?
It's 100% false.
100% false?
Yeah. So if you really want to know what happened, obviously we had heard what Trump said.
Right.
And clearly there's a lot of guys just like right here that felt a certain type of way.
How could you not?
And so we're like, man, like we got to do like some type of display, something. It wasn't even that big of a deal. Like it was literally like, hey, like, we're going to sit or whatever. We're not going to even make a huge deal out of it.
But obviously the media made a huge deal out of it.
Like, all right, cool. And then it was just like
This is when he came out and said
coaches and like a bunch of people were like, oh, like basically don't do that. Like just stay in the locker room or like whatever it was.
Right.
And it wasn't even to the point where people were like distracted. It was literally like, hey, we're just going to do this one thing. And then it was just like a weird thing where like there were certain players that were like, no, like we shouldn't do that, whatever, blah, blah,
Wow.
blah. But it's just like, man, like that's like 3 of y'all saying that we shouldn't do that. And a lot of us feel a certain time.
And you know who those 3 were? Jack Del Rio. you know that motherfucker was up to something. The way he be talking about the Raiders now, you know, he did not agree with this. And I blame him over anybody else. Yeah.
A certain type of way. So it's kind of messed up that
Right.
3 people would be like, nah, like basically make us feel like we're in the wrong for like.
And to have this kind of
For one
discussion
day,
right
too.
before a game.
Yeah, but it was like the night before though. Like it was like the day before or whatever.
Yeah.
Like by the time game day came around, like most of us were just like, hey, like this is how we feel. This is what we are going to do.
Yeah.
Y'all like do what y'all have to do, but we feel this way about this right now.
You're the only all-black offensive line in the entire NFL.
Facts.
The
How
entire
could you,
NFL.
How could you not?
How
I
could
don't
it
even
not
understand.
like yours?
I don't understand how you cannot understand that.
See, and I got to give a lot of props to him for, you know, talking about the whole situation. And like I said, they say that there was 3 people, which I believe is Jack, Dell, and Rio. But, you know, it wasn't really a big deal to them. It was just like, you know, we're going to do this. Some people disagreed with it. Obviously, it's on Monday Night Football. Everybody's going to talk about it. And the way the whole game transpired after that, there was a lot of conspiracy theories, which blows my mind. Like how you can make a lot of things up just by seeing how the game went. Obviously, it did not go the way it went. And a lot of people like to blame Derek Carr and say Derek Carr was the reason for that. And that Derek Carr is a Bible thumper, and he was going off on the offensive line, and the offensive line wanted him to get sacked, wanted him to get hurt, which is the most stupidest thing I've ever heard, the most dumbest thing I've ever heard. And if you know Derek Carr, then you know this dude is a lovable guy. He's a guy that you love to hang out with. You wouldn't want to get him hurt, especially his offensive line that had his back for so many years, which is crazy. But, you know, KO addresses it, and it's kind of crazy because all these so-called media people don't know shit. They just want to make a story out of anything. But yeah.
Yeah.
Because the rumors were about Derek, and I just wasn't sure.
That's super false.
That's
And
what I would
Derek
like-
is
that's what I'd love
hella
for you to
cool.
clear up.
Like we all mess with him.
Yeah.
Like he's funny. He's not one of those quarterbacks that's like
Facts.
super
How
serious
did
all
that
the time. You
rumor
can't
get
relate
started?
to him. I don't know, man. It's like one of those little media things. Like a little troll out there said some crazy stuff, or a little like
Derek got sacked a lot.
wannabe media person was like, "Oh, this is why that happened," and then like,
And that wannabe media person is Miko Grimes, wife of Brent Grimes. That bitch went on the Breakfast Club and tried to spill some tea like she knew shit around the organization, saying, you know, I know what happened. I'm going to give you what you want. I know what you guys want to hear. This all happened because Derek Carr did not agree with the offensive line, and he wanted to pray before the game and read the Bible, and they did not agree with it. Like, whoa.
But the reason Derek Carr got injured is because the Raiders' offensive line allowed him to get injured because he was against them protesting. I got the tea, baby. They were fighting in the locker room, and that's the only all-black offensive line in the NFL is the Raiders. And so he was so upset about it when the whole offensive line was saying they were going to kneel. He was like, no. You're not kneeling. No, this is America. You're going to stand for the flag and blah, blah, blah. And they're going to fight in the locker room. So when they came out to play, they basically had a plan like, you know what?
I don't really like to cuss in my videos, but all I have to say is, fuck that bitch.
Fuck that bitch. Fuck that bitch.
Let's keep going on with this.
and then like like MAGA country or whatever,
Yeah.
like go crazy. They latched onto that, and we're like, is this what's going on in the team? Like y'all couldn't be like way off.
And it was way off. Obviously, everybody that's talked about it, they say that that's far from the truth. And like I said, if you know Derek Carr, he's a lovable guy. He's a really nice guy to be around. And you can't hate the guy, you know? I know he might be quote unquote soft, but he's the quarterback that everybody would love. I mean, who doesn't like Derek Carr? Who? Obviously, our team does.
I hear people all the time like, I can't tell if they like him or if they don't. And that's like players
You
and
should
coaches.
like him. Players
Yeah.
like him. I have not met a player that doesn't like Derek.
That's
I feel like
Facts.
that's 100% false that people don't like Derek as far as players are concerned. The people that actually know him, you have to like him. He's too good of a guy not to like.
Yeah.
Like there's never
AB
any.
fucks with him.
Everybody like
Yeah.
Facts.
you just have to. Like, have you met him? Like, if you
I have
meet
not.
him, you're gonna love him.
Good energy
Like his
to him.
dad, like his whole family. They're
Yeah.
just a great family. He's just a great guy.
Interesting. Fucking rumors, man.
That's what a lot of people latch onto. But Raider Nation, that is all I have for you guys today. I just wanted to talk about that. And it's kind of crazy. I got a lot of respect for KO. And after watching the whole thing, you know, I have a newfound respect for Kelechi Osemele with the Raiders. I know he did not want any of this to happen, but it did happen. We traded him away to the New York Jets. And I wish nothing but the best for KO and his new endeavors. But what do you guys think about this whole interview? What are your guys' thoughts on it? Drop it down in the comments below and let your boy know. If you guys enjoyed this video, then please hit that thumbs up button. You guys have have been killing and smashing the like button. So Raider Nation, with that being said, this is your boy Small Raider, and your boy is yeah.